topic of the day, as always, brought to you by you. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic to leave your topic, just like Brian Artist Jackson did.
Brian Artist Jackson.
How would you like gaming to improve in 2017? Ponder that.
Well, I think what EA just did today, as we're recording this with a release date for Mass Effect being announced, literally 2.5 months or so before the game comes out, I think is a great example of what we've been talking about keeping your cards closer to your vest until you're ready to say something, about giving people something to be really excited about in a finite amount of time with something that's imminent. I think is a really cool thing. We've seen that, and sporadically. We've also seen the opposite with what Rockstar did with Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's one way I'd like to see gaming improve, is to publishers take your time, developers take your time, and when there's something to say it. Say it definitively, and say it close to when you're ready to actually show something. I don't like these long lead times, and I hope we continue to learn from that.
Give up on and this isn't just Mario, give up on all this always online bullshit. Like even Watch Dogs 2, where I got to connect to the server and log in, all that stuff in the beginning, and then you're going to put trophies in there where you're forcing me to play with other people and do all this shit. Like, let's focus on single player. Let's just let me have the experience I want and keep going that way.
Mm-hmm. For me, I hope there's less delays. Like I think that 2016 might have been the end of that era of all of these games getting delayed constantly. There will always be delays for the rest of the time.
Sure.
But I hope and I expect 2017 will not have as many.
You think people are going to keep their mouths shut a bit better?
Yeah, and it's like going back to what Colin was saying, I think that like those are things that go hand in hand. And I think that in 2017, hopefully a lot of games. Like I was wrong thinking that Horizon was going to get delayed by the end of 2016. So I hope that stays true.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope the Switch is awesome.
George Barrett says, do you guys have any gaming New Year's resolutions? I want to play more games. I feel like that's such an easy thing to say.
Sure.
I'm probably not going to be able to stick to it as much as I'd like to, but I have fun playing games. I think that's a easy thing to say, but it's like, it's easy to get caught up in work, and especially when you're with what we're doing, and like to not remember that I like just playing the games to play the games and not just to talk about the games. And the few times I've been able to play things recently, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I loved Last Guardian. Love Final Fantasy 15. Like, why don't I do this more?
I think the one for Game Over Greggy Show, I did the topic where I went through all the movies I watched. I want to keep a better track of everything I play this year, because I feel like, when we were doing Game of the Year stuff and rounding up, and like I look at my trophies, which is pretty great, but then I almost forget, not that it got mentioned, but I forgot that I played Quantum Break or whatever, and not that I was going to put that on my list, but I had fun with it, and it's a game that I'm like, all right, I played that, and like that speaks to, I guess, the narrative of it that I don't remember. I was like, oh shit, I don't even remember playing that this year. But we play so much in a year that by the end you get to, you're like, what did I play that wasn't on here? I know I've played Steam games. What if I played over there? I don't know.
Well, also a year used to mean something different in games because of how things were released, where it's like you only needed to pay attention to August to December.
Yeah.
And it was like, what happened in the last couple of months? You can remember that. But like Super Hot, that was last, like, what the hell? Like, there's so many of these games that I'm like, man, I would have sworn that was way longer ago, but that's just how time works.
I mean, last year, 2016, I played an absurd amount of games. I couldn't believe how many games I played. And what I like to do is, the volume isn't so important as time spent. And so I'd like to continue to just play the games that spoke to me. I think that this 2016 was a very good year for games. I think some people were pretty critical about it. I thought it was a really great year. And so I want to continue to pay heed to the games that speak to me and continue to find time to spend with those games, because I really think I did a nice job with that in 2016 of balancing all that kind of stuff, because games are certainly a balancing act, and playing them, especially as an adult, and when I went back and looked at my trophies for our Game of the Year list, I was shocked by how much I played. and I want to continue to find the time to do that, and also because I think it's also important to balance out the other things you're interested in and not be overwhelmed with that kind of stuff. So it's a scheduling issue, but there's a lot of great games coming out this year, or games that I'm excited about. I mean, we're going to get Resident Evil 7, and I'm going to get Tales of Berseria, which I'm super excited about. We're going to move right into Horizon, and then we're going to move right into Mass Effect. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the first quarter.
Resident Evil, man. I always forget, and it's super close.
The date? Is it the 23rd?
The 24th. Yeah.
4th? Holy crap. 20 days.
Really, really excited about that. We might get it any moment. I should reach out and see.
Oh, man.
Reach out and touch fate.
Justin Pruitt says.
Pruitt.
And his Twitter name is LP Fanatic 4ev. I love that.
Linkin Park?
Yeah. What do you think will be the biggest takeaway from the year? What will 2017 be remembered for? I hope more than anything it will be remembered as the year that Nintendo comes back.
That's a great point.
I hope that Nintendo just fucking takes it by the horns, breaks that motherfucker's neck, and it's just like, I'm fucking back. And Reggie just comes out and he's just like, it's like, are you Donkey Kong? It's like, no, I'm fucking Reggie. My body's goddamn ready. And everyone
was the horns? Did you break the year's neck? What? What? Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's visceral. Man, I wouldn't expect that from Reggie. He seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I agree. I think this is a year we're gonna remember whatever Nintendo did. As I said,
true.
as I said in Colin was right. Not that I'm spoiling because you guys have probably already seen it if you're gonna watch it, but about the Switch is that expectations are what's really important. Switch expectations, as they call them in the video. And I feel like the expectation. We just need to narrow the expectation down. If Switch sells twice as much as Wii U, 3 times as much as Wii U, that's a massive success. And I'm not saying in the year, I'm saying lifetime. Like Switch is still going to be a niche device. Switch is not going to outsell PS4. So just keep your expectations in check. Focus on the positive in terms of the games and the quality. So what? It's 720 or whatever. Apparently, going to be on the handheld. Wherever are the games good? Are the games fun? They can nail the price. If they can nail the price, if they can nail the messaging, if they can get all the bad news out of the way, if the battery life's good, et cetera, and so on, then I think Nintendo's going to have a very successful time with this thing. But again, context is everything. Even 3DS, which seems like a runaway success, has sold a small fraction of what DS sold because things are changing. And I also think that one of the interesting underlying things that we're going to find out with the Switch is that if the Switch does well, I think Sony in particular is paying attention to this. And I do not think we have seen the last of a Sony handheld if Switch does well. And I stand by that. Like, Sony is not going to let Nintendo have this uncontested market share if this thing is big. And they're always R&Ding. They're always, I'm sure, testing and thinking and trying new things. And so I think that that's going to be an underlying story that might be told in years to come if the Switch is successful. And I'm really pulling for Nintendo. I think a healthy Nintendo is going to be good. And an independent Nintendo is going to be good for the game industry.
They should watch what Reggie does to 2017.
With this whole thing?
They should be careful. Not to talk
You don't
shit.
want, okay, don't have the horns come near, the Sony horns come in there.
That Vita, it's about to get fucking got.
I don't think it's going to get as much as this is the evolution. This is the Nintendo. Nintendo saw the Vita and they said, you're close, Sony. We can perfect this.
And I said it in my GameStop video that I made when I was talking about what I am hoping for and expecting for the Switch. And I think that there's a great opportunity for Nintendo to do what the Vita should have been, which is have great indie games, have a lot of games just coming out, but also have solid first-party games. And that's where the Vita lacked. And I think putting Nintendo games on there when it is Nintendo just focusing on one library instead of the Wii U and 3DS, it's like, man, it's very exciting times to be a Nintendo fan, which is awesome to say because it's been like 10 years.
But this time, I see even that you guys always get excited for your directs. Even back in the day, you get excited for the E3 press conferences. And we were always sitting on the sidelines like, don't do it. They're going to hurt you again. They're going to break your heart. And they did over and over again. This is the first time in a while you have legitimate reason to be excited.
Well,
they ain't going to fuck you dirty.
I only halfway agree with that because there was a lot of times where it's like when you are expecting they're going to do this crazy thing absolutely perfectly, then you're going to get disappointed. But I do think that Nintendo did a really good job of when it came to games. Like
Smash, don't get me wrong, their Smash things were amazing.
Their directs, when it was like press conference directs where they're talking about a whole bunch of stuff, that's when you're going to get disappointed. But when it was like, we're doing a direct just about Mario Kart, or we're doing a direct just about Mario 3D World, or just about Bayonetta, or just about Smash Bros., that's when it's like, you're going to get excited. And I feel like they did a great job of giving me reasons to be excited because that's the thing that they, no matter what, and they've done wrong in the last 10 years, they did the games right. And I think that they also did a really good job hyping those games and keeping me excited for those games. I wasn't excited for their business plan, but now for the first time I am. And it's like they have not fucked up. And you keep saying about the bad news coming, and like we're getting closer and closer to there not being bad news. And like everyone, of course, is going to find something to be upset about. But personally, I think we're in the clear. So let's get it. Joey Noel says, obviously, the most important gaming news of the day, Pokemon Snap finally on the Wii U Virtual Console. Pokemon Snap is this. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. Kind of sucks. It kind of really sucks. I love it as what it is, and I have fond nostalgic memories of it. But like, man, it's
you don't like taking photos? It's always got to be about shooting and fucking with you, huh?
Yeah, shooting from you can't even selfie.
Nobody knew what a selfie was back then. No one knew what a selfie was back then.
They should.
You didn't do that shit with your wind-up camera. You didn't know what you're getting.
I didn't. I did selfies.
But again,
close.
This still not at the Pokemon Snap time. Think about that. I was in high school in Mike O'Brien's basement.
Yeah,
you must have been fucking what?
You're right,
5th grade?
Right. I was in third grade. I remember going to Blockbuster.
God damn it.
And the Pokemon Snap, they had these little kiosks where you could take your Pokemon Stadium cartridge and plug it into the Blockbuster kiosk. Cool. And there was a photo mode in Pokemon Stadium, and you can upload your photos from either Pokemon Snap or Pokemon Stadium and then print them off on little actual pictures.
Very smart.
It's like Blockbuster was a weird place. Really weird place.
Agreed, yeah.
But I miss it.
Once I wanted to pick, I forget what shit. I wanted to pick up some rated R movie there, and it was me and my friends, and we were under 17. But like we were able to use their phone to call my mom, who then got, and then she's like, yeah, they can have it. And he's like, all right. I'm like, that could have been any adult.
Yeah.
Could have called a pizza shop. Begged him. Just say yes to whatever this man's about to say.
Nathan Evans says, Greg and Colin said they wouldn't be shocked if Mass Effect came out spring 2018. What are their thoughts now?
I did. No, none of you were here, but I was working this morning from the office, and then when it popped up, I was like, whoa. Like, whoa, all right, cool. Look at the balls on you, EA. I was wrong. I did not think you had a shot at this spring. I kept saying that I thought for sure it wasn't going to come out this spring. But here we are with a March real release date. And I was like, damn, good for you.
I say so much shit that I don't remember half of it. I don't remember ever saying that. So I'm just, that could have been something I said, but I don't remember saying that Mass Effect could come out next year.
I think, no, not that it would. I think the conversation was me saying something's wrong with that game. You saying, I can see that. And I think it was the conversation that was you saying you could see it coming out this soon, or you could see it coming out as far as next
wouldn't
spring.
be shocked. So it's not saying.
Yeah, I don't think this wasn't a Colin prediction lock thing.
I certainly, when I went on Twitter this morning, I certainly didn't expect to see a release date, and I'm super hard by that. Now people are saying that the game's going to get delayed, and I'm like, I don't know about that because I know that Inquisition got a 6-week delay, but why would you announce the date 2 months before and then? I really feel like this was them like making sure that they were ready to go, and I think that they're ready to go. I think that is the date, and I feel like that was the date that was leaked by Dark Horse like months ago, but I'd have to look into that.
Final question comes from Kinda Soup Steven. I want a review of Altered Beast, aka the best game ever made. How many tweets have you guys gotten about Altered Beast? Because I've gotten a fucking
some girl or guy was just like, I can't. I busted out laughing and then started crying when you guys said my first game, Altered Beast, was horrible.
Altered Beast is the worst game.
Go
ever.
fucking play it right now on any of the Sega Genesis collections. It's terrible. You're spitting furballs at people. It's awful.
It's a garbage game. I remember when it came out to PS3, we got codes or something, and I downloaded it and I used a guide to get as many trophies as possible. Like the game is fucking atrocious. It is an atrocious, bad, terrible
visuals,
game.
Controls like garbage. There's nothing redeeming about Altered Beast.
I don't know what else to say about it. I encourage everyone to play Altered Beast, specifically just so you know what a bad game is. And then you can judge everything based on Altered Beast. Because the only other game I can think of off the top of my head that's even remotely that bad is that game Amy on PS3. Like, there are games that are not fun. There are games that are, they're bad games. And then there's, like, fucking trash. And fucking trash isn't that common, really, in the console space. It's not. And Altered Beast, man, is fucking garbage. I couldn't believe it when I was a kid playing that game.
That was their original pack-in, right?
Yep.
That was their big ticket thing, and then they're like, it started fucking tanking. They gotta get Sonic out. Sonic came, saved the day.
Yeah, Sonic came out.
What he does.
It took 2 years for Sonic to post Genesis. People forget Genesis came out in '89. You know, so it's not like, and then Genesis.
I did not know that.
And then Genesis
I came out in '89, but
Genesis had a revival.
I didn't realize that Genesis came out until like the revival period.
Yeah,
like,
Genesis.
Gotta get Genesis.
Genesis had like, it wasn't even a soft launch. They tried and they failed, and then they tried again, and it worked. It's really unprecedented.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just had to go fast, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, I love you.